In this lesson, we're going to be working on counting on to find missing numbers. And this is all working with the connection between plus and minus. On this page here, we have a little bit of a question. It's written in a number sequence. It says 17 plus, and there's a question mark, it's in a box, equals 19. So 17 plus a number that we don't know equals 19. Who thinks they know what the answer is there? Well, if you do, that is fantastic. You're well on your way to understanding, counting on to find the missing numbers. If you don't, it is our learning intention and success criteria that you are able to understand this equation here and also many more that you can work out on how to find the missing number in a number sequence in order for it to be correct. On this page here, we have a number sequence. Now, it's not any ordinary numbers because instead of the numbers as in numeral, as in 1, 2, we're going to use highlighters. And we can see over here we've got 3 highlighters. 1, 2, 3. We then have a plus, and next to it is a question mark. So it says we've got 3 highlighters plus some sort of number, we're not sure yet, equals 5. Now, Mr. Quinn has sent to me, Mr. Graham, you need 5 highlighters in order for you to start term 3. I said, oh, Mr. Quinn, I've only got 3. Look, 1, 2, 3. How many more then do I need in order for me to get 5? Now, a way that you can solve this problem is we can actually use subtraction to solve an addition problem. And that's helping us to make sure there's a connection between addition and subtraction. Let's see if we can work it out together. So we know that we need, according to Mr. Quinn, we need 5 of these highlighters. Mr. Quinn's very hard on that. He makes sure that, Mr. Graham, you must have 5 highlighters. But we only have here 3. 1, 2, 3. So how many more do we need in order for us to get 5? We can use a timeline to help us work this out. Now, if we're using subtraction, when we do subtraction, we always put the greatest number on the top of the equation. So what's the greatest number on this? It is the 5. Absolutely. So we can go 5. And what are we taking away? What number are we taking away from 5 in order to give us the question mark there? What number are we taking away? So 5, take away what number? What number do we know there? We know that there are 3 highlighters, don't we? So we can say 5, take away 3, and what does that equal? Now let's use the timeline here to help us work that out. Now I know a lot of you will be saying, Mr. Graham, I know what the answer is. But for later in the video, you might need to use a timeline to help you work out more difficult equations. So let's have a look. Let's firstly put a circle around the 5 because we know that we are looking at the 5. We know that there are 5 highlighters that we need, and that is the answer that we need to come up with. There are 5. And how many are we taking away from 5? How many highlighters do we already have that we are taking away from 5? We're taking away 3 because we can see we've got 1 purple one, so we'll go 1 for the purple. And then we've got 1 orange one, so we'll go 1 for the orange one. And then we've got 1 pinky one, and also we'll take 1 for the pink one. And where do we end up then? What number are we now on? We are now on the 2. So if we start at 5, which is the number what we needed to have, Mr. Quinn said, remember, we need 5 highlighters, and we take away 3, because we've got 3, don't we? 1, 2, 3. What number are we on now? We are on the number 2, aren't we? So we can say then that 5 take away 3 equals 2. So how many more highlighters does Mr. Graham need in order for him to get to 5? What answer did we just come up with? Mr. Graham needs 2 highlighters, doesn't he? Because 3 plus 2 equals what? Equals 5. Excellent. Well done. Let's see if we're right on the next page. As we can see here, the number sequence does run true now because we started off with our 3 highlighters and we worked out that we needed 2 more highlighters to give us 5. And we use subtraction there to find that out. I'm going to give you another one that we're going to work together, and then you'll have a go at doing it on your own. Let's have a go. Okay, so since you've been gone, Mr. Graham got a little bit hungry. But he needs to know he really likes these biscuits here, and he needs to have 12 of them. It's part of his diet, and he has to have 12 of them. But over here we can see he's actually only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he's got 8 there, plus we don't know how many are left, equals 12. He has to have 12 of these biscuits. He loves them. Mr. Graham loves these biscuits. Can you help Mr. Graham work out how many more biscuits he needs? So we know from the other example that we have 12, which is our total. So we are taking something away from 12 to give us that question mark, aren't we? Because remember, with our subtraction, we always take the biggest number away from the smallest number. So we know that we have how many biscuits there already. We have 8 biscuits. So let's write an 8 underneath the biscuits there. Now, in order for us to find out how many this question mark is, we need to take some number away from the other number, don't we? To give us that unknown, to give us that question mark. So the way we can do that is by, same as what we did in the last time, starting off with our greater number. So our greater number is what? It's the 12. So we'll write the 12 down. And we are taking away, aren't we? Because we're finding the relationship between plus and minus. So if we see that it's 8 plus some number equals 12, we can actually use subtraction to find that number. Now, I know some of you might be saying, Mr. Graham, I can do that easily. I can just count on. Well, that's great, but in some more difficult examples, you'll need to be able to use subtraction to work out these. So let's have a go. We've got our 12, and then we are taking away, what number are we taking away there? We're taking away the 8 shapes that we know, the 8 biscuits that Mr. Graham has already, because we need to know how many more does he need to get to 12. Let's put a line underneath that. Now, for some of you can work that out like this straight away. I'm going to use a number line to help me with it. So on the screen here, we now have a timeline, and we're going to use a timeline exactly how we used it last time. This time we're using a little bit bigger numbers, that's all. It's the same way. So the first thing we need to do is find 12, because we're taking 8 numbers away from 12. We know how many numbers we have. We need to know how many numbers we need to plus together to get us to 12. Let's put a circle around our 12. Now we need to jump back 8 to find the answer, don't we? Because we need to find out how many more do we need from 8 to get to 12. So let's do 8 steps on this number line. Remember, each of those little lines is a step. Let's start at 12. So that's 1 shape, 2 yummy biscuits, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, is that the answer? No, because we've only done 7 jumps. We need to do one more jump, 7, 8. So what is the answer? What's the number then that we landed on there? It is our 4. Absolutely. So 12, take away 8. So starting at our 12, jump back 8. What does that answer give us then? It gives us 4. Excellent. So we now know that Mr. Graham needs 4 more biscuits in order for him to get to 12 biscuits. Well done, Year 2. He really worked hard on working through that example. Now, Mr. Graham's feeling very generous. He wants to give everyone in the class a Minecraft toy. So far, he has 10 Minecraft toys. So he's going to write on the screen here, 10. Mr. Graham's got 10. He wants to give everyone in the class one. That means that he must have 20. So the total of Minecraft toys that he needs to have is 20. Your job is to find out how many more Minecraft toys does Mr. Graham need in order for him to get to 20. So he really wants to give everyone in the class one, but he's only got 10 now. How many more toys does Mr. Graham need to buy in order for him to have 20? So then he can give everyone in the class one. Now, I'm going to give this one for yourself. Remember that you need to use subtraction to find the answer. So you need to, I'm only going to give a couple of hints. You're taking away 20. Remember, this goes on the top. And we already know this number here. So your equation will look something like 20 take away 10 equals what? You can use a timeline to help you, or you can use count on to help you. Whichever method that you want to use, you can try. Go and do that for me now, please. Once you have the answer, go and show a teacher. Once the teacher has seen it, you can then continue working on your activities, which is found underneath this video. Off you go.